It is the mighty Scorponok, yes, the Y-C002 from Siyang Cultural, I believe it's called. That is kind of a mix between the Titan and the original. Yes, he is quite the large beastie, a bit larger, I think, than the Y-C001, the Metroplex, and he's very cool. Now, he actually did not come to me in this form. I put him in this form. He came to me in robot mode, but with his feet, because basically I got him without the box. This, to have full disclosure, was provided at a discount by the Tommy Park store. Unfortunately, some of these toys are so expensive even to them that they can't just give me free ones. But I do appreciate the discount, and I will be going through this with an honest review, going through the good, bad, the ugly about Scorponok and his many accessories, and talk about that. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm Captain Kyle. Welcome aboard. If you've been watching for a while, thanks for coming back. I hope you enjoy this video. This is a cool one. And I know there's been other reviews of it, but I don't care because I'm going to give you my take. And we'll have some fun along the way. Be right back. Okay, so this is Scorponok in his Scorpion mode, but before we start talking about him, I do want to talk about some of the other accessories that you receive, and we'll go to the other camera over here just to zoom in. We have a Fasttrack, we have a Zarak, we have an itsy bitsy Zarak head, which we'll go over that in just a little bit. We have these two non-transforming plastic figures. Might be hard to see, but it's Galvatron and Ultra Magnus in very mini size. He comes with lots of blast effects. In fact, I haven't even taken them all off the sprue. Now, personally, I've never been a huge blast effect person, but I can appreciate them sometimes. And what's interesting is he has pieces that you can use to plug some of the holes in, and I don't know why they didn't just do it themselves, but I took care of all the orange bits. I think I took care of all the green bits, but I have leftovers, and I have leftovers for the maroon bits, so it's like IKEA. Now, it also comes with a massive gun, which did not come with the Titan. It did come with the original, though this is a little bit differently set up. Ooh. I almost think an orange piece should go there, but I'm out of orange. It's a little bit different than the original. And Galvatron just fell over because he's an itty bitty guy. So we're going to go over this, but it's very similar to the original. It also comes with this piece here. Not sure what it does. Where it's supposed to go, if anywhere. It's got a little square on the end. Now, there are instructional videos online on how to transform this guy, but they don't go over all the pieces that you put in. So what can you do? But we are going to go over all these little guys very shortly. But for now, we'll slide those aside because I want to talk about Scorpion mode. So he is big, and I have to zoom out the camera in order to get all of his magnificence on here. Now, I've seen him in Scorpion mode a number of ways. For example, I have these silver pieces on the side here that actually go as part of his huge shield and kind of mimic the chrome pieces that went on in the G1. But some people don't put these on, and they take a couple of the guns and they put them here instead. Now, the original had guns that went here. The Titan does not have such guns. And I do like the silver, so what I've done in the front is I put the two guns on his shoulders, and I put two guns on one of his claws, and I put the shield on the other. Now, you could always put the shield aside with the claw and put this gun on the outside of this claw. It's really up to you, but looking at these massive claws, you know, it's a pretty intimidating creature. Now, as far as articulation for this guy, now the original had a bit of a gimmick where you would roll it around and his legs would go dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. This does not happen here. These legs are all individually articulated, so you can put them up, down, you can point the toes, toe peak, spread them out however you want. Same thing with the ones on the other side, so you can just put them in whichever way you want to. Now, the head here is actually his helmet that we'll talk about later when we put him into his robot mode. But it's put in such a way, the antennae are up. It looks like it has these like little windows, so someone could be in there controlling him since he's a Headmaster, Titanmaster, whatever the fuck you want to call him. And these arms are pretty articulated. Of course, if you push them back too much and you have the guns on here, they rub against these legs, so you want to be careful of that. You can turn the claws inward and outward. They have claws, and these two pieces of the claw are individually articulated, so you can move them in and out however you'd like. You can turn them. You can turn at these shoulders. You can even move it up and then make use of the kind of elbow thing to put it at an odd angle. I don't think it looks that good. Now on the claws, these orange pieces were not present, so I had to actually take them off the sprue and put them on here. Same thing on the bottom. It's got orange pieces down there. Again, they could have been added by the company, but I guess they just put them on the sprue and figured they wanted to cut labor costs and keep this thing from being too expensive. I mean, it's not cheap. It goes for around anywhere from $190 to a little over $200. So it's about the cost of the regular Titan one, but it's got a lot of gimmicks and it's pretty cool. One part I do not like is in the back here. Here's the tail, which you got the articulating tail that moves. You can't stab someone in front. It's just not possible. But it's got these two pieces that are supposed to plug into here, and I line them up and push them in, and they don't seem to want to stay. So that is kind of an annoyance. But if you just put the tail up, and you have it at this slight angle, which makes it look better, it still stays in place. So it's a minor quibble, but I give honest reviews. This is by no means the perfect Scorponok. Now, what is interesting is the legs will store inside his back, and there are some covers in there. If I lift this up, which I have to say everything is pretty tight, but there's this cover here. But when I initially got it, it was folded down. So I thought it might have been missing, but then I removed the legs and I found that there's a cover there. And there's also one that I can flip out here if I want to cover up this bottom area and the head came off. But in here, there's one that I can push down into place and it kind of blocks that little hole on the bottom. Now the head attaches a couple different ways. When it has the Headmaster in there, which we're going to talk about him in a bit, that is part of the connection, but it also has little slots on the helmet right here that you can line up and push in, so he does not need to have the Headmaster head attached in his beast mode. Is that what we're calling it? But there is a lot of decent articulation for this mode, just not in the back end, and this, you might as well pretend you're shooting lasers out of it. And of course you have the blast effects. You can put them on the end of all these cannons. I don't see a blast effect big enough to go on the end of this cannon, but so you got a lot of blast effects, like so. Yay! It's a very great homage to the original Scorponok, his original Scorpion mode. I like it. There are some differences, but overall, it's cool. Now I'm going to remove this piece, and we'll actually put him into his base mode next. So I'm going to remove these and all these wonderful cannons. I'm even going to try to talk about transforming him. So this folds here, this opens up, this opens up, this folds inside here. So you can compact the tail down quite a bit. That folds there, that folds there, that folds down, and you have the ramp for base mode. Now the legs are tabbed together, but pretty easily come apart, and I'm going to straighten them out. Now, I'm not exactly doing it the way that it showed in the instructions. Not that I care all that much, but I'm just going to do it my way. So these go out to the side. This goes right in there. So we're part way there to base mode. Now these arms basically go into the back, and just like the original, there we go. But wait, there's more. So the legs here, I'm going to push this up, get it out of the way so we can start putting the legs away. It's very cool. I'm hoping I get it in a good shot. So I pushed that in. These go in here, as are these. Now you may need to point the toes a little bit to get them in there properly, and then you can push further down. Now it may push this up. You can always open it up and just flatten out the feet, close that. This does actually come forward. Now there's a little square post here that's supposed to pop into that. So we're almost there for the base mode. These things open up like repair bays. They're a little stiff, but they open. These ramps fold out, and a neat way to get them out quickly, see there are these two orange pieces here, which if you start to push them out, will flip up the ramps. So then you can open up the ramp partway, flip it all out. There you go. These are repair arms. So they come out and perform repairs on Decepticons, hopefully. And then you have two things here. And again, the ramp doesn't always like to stay in exact place on that post. Another minor thing. So you have these two things that open up, and there's little missile pods in there. But wait, there's more. So you have the base mode, and I'm trying to show you all of it. This gun separates like so, and just like the original, you can plug part of the gun there and another part of the gun here. So you have a couple towers. What else we got? This piece here actually plugs in right here, which is kind of neat. These two pieces you want to plug into the bottom part of the claw. Come on. But there's a little more you can do. Now with these guns, unfortunately, you can't put them all on him in this mode, but you can at least put the 2 back here. So when he's in this mode, he can be repairing things. I don't think there's any other pieces that you can put on, unless you want to, just for storage, put these cannons here, and you can kind of put them to the side and have them come around the corner. This still wants to pop out. I think I need to move back these claws a little bit. There we go. And Honor is here because she likes Decepticon bases. So yeah, you can put the guns, the extra guns on the back there so you're not missing out on stuff. So there is the Scorponok Decepticon base. You can look at it in both cameras. Now things that will go with the base, you have Fasttrack. So Fasttrack can be there, or you can put him into his vehicle mode. So we're gonna put him aside for a moment. Yes, we will get to the robot mode, don't worry. But let's talk about his companions. And first we'll talk about our little buddy, Fasttrack, which is not a very evil Decepticon name. Fasttrack just sounds like, you know, you want to get things done? Put him on the Fasttrack. Now he's a bit smaller than the deluxe size. He's more of a core class legend size. He's only about 3.5 inches in height, but he does have 2 guns, and let's check out some posability. So first of all, full Jean-Claude Van Damme, not a problem at all. And he does have ankle tilts. They're kind of generous, so he can go that far out and still be flat-footed. I'll just give a spin here to show his various sides, but that's pretty neat. Now his legs, he can kick forward, nice kick. He can kick backwards, not quite as high, but still pretty good. Side kick, obviously. In fact, he can do a full split, kick somebody in the face, send their jaw flying into outer space, whatever he wants to do. He does bend at the knee, so that is a good thing. A nice 90 degrees there, and he even has a swivel. His legs, so I mean, for the size of the figure, it is pretty dang good. And he twists all the way around at the waist, so you can put him in all kind of poses. It's very nice, very, very nice. The arms can go all the way around. Now I'm gonna take one of these guns off just to get a little exercise in my hands, because you gotta wiggle them and wiggle them. Just wiggle it just a little bit. So you see he's got the fists here, and arms go all the way around. He bends at the elbow. He has a swivel there as well. If it wasn't for him having a body, he could swivel all the way around. Now he can go out slightly to the side, not a ton, but it's pretty good. And just one other thing with the guns, you can, instead of putting them in his fists, you can actually mount them onto his shoulders, so we can have shoulder mounted weapons. His head here does turn all the way around, and overall he is a very articulated Legends class figure, or a core class figure rather. Now I'm going to take his gun off his shoulder, put it back in his hand, because I would like to show you vehicle mode. But again, very nice homage to the original, very good Fasttrack. Now transforming him, it's actually a little more complex than you think. You do have this plate on the back that comes up. You kind of got to tilt his head a little bit backwards to snap that into place, and you put the arms up, so it's, that part's pretty easy. Now he does twist it the way, so you got to twist it all the way around, point his toes forward, but he actually has little plates in the back that you have to pry up. I am still waiting for my spludger I ordered. I only ordered it today, so. But it can be also helpful to use the ankle tilt to get under there, or use this weird thing that I don't know what it does, but I can use it to, actually, I forgot, it goes from the top. That's why it wasn't opening. So you pull down from the top. Yeah, I haven't gotten a lot of sleep lately. You pull them down from the top, and you can actually compact the legs. So you just move them up like one level, and then you close them again, and you'll actually see, and these little plates can come off pretty easily, so just be aware of that. But when you close it up, before this slot was filled, now this slot is filled. So you close it up, locks the legs into place, you fold this under. He kind of has a, I didn't really show, he can kind of bow, and then you just push the legs forward like that, and then you can snap them together. There's a little thing on the bottom. Hard to do before you put them forward, so don't do that, because I just did it and realized, oops, that's right, you can't do it that way. So you have a little Fasttrack here, and his legs are compacted. He's got these 2 weapons. He's got these 2 other barrels that could be weapons. Now, doesn't look like any of the blast effects can go on him, but it's still pretty cool. Now, I'm gonna turn you a little bit so we have some room for the roll test. Slides. The roll test does not work. If you put it on a rough surface, you can maybe get the wheels to move, and they do move freely, but Yeah, I don't think you're going to be rolling him around a lot anyway, but the wheels really don't do much for you. So there he is from all angles, Fasttrack, and then, of course, if he needs an upgrade, if he needs a repair, you can put him into one of the repair bays, like so, and you can have these arms just, you know, poke and prod him until he's like, no, please! And probably not going to turn it this way, just so you can put him on here, roll him forward, and he rolls down the ramp. Also roll down these ramps. There's some bumps here. I don't know why. So his wheels are a little too wide. So yeah, just pretend. That's what we do, is we pretend. That's what we do a lot in the Transformers universe. Okay, now we are going to get to his robot mode very shortly, but I want to talk about Zarak, the Headmaster. And I will zoom in a little bit on him. So this is Zarak. You can see he's a decent looking robot. He's got the face on the back. There's no real cover for it. But the interesting thing is, you also get this little Headmaster, whose the articulation is, you know, the arms can move, and he can sit down, pretty much it. But if you transform him into the head mode, you can actually remove this head, which is just a nice head, in case you don't want him controlled by a Nebulon. And there you go. He is now head on. So let's look at some posability. So he has quite generous ankle tilts. I mean, he can basically do a split and have his feet flat. He also is able to do, you may have guessed it, a full Jean-Claude Van Damme. He can bend at the knee. He can kick forward. In fact, he's got a double jointed knee, so he can like kick himself in the chest. He can kick back, can kick to the side, and he has swivels all the way around. Can he twist at the waist? Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Bob the Bill. Okay, that's something different. His arms can go all the way around. He bends at the elbow. He's got these little plates here, just to be aware of. He does have a swivel. You need to lift up the plates to use the swivel. The fists actually turn, which is amazing at his size. He does have holes in his fists. He does not have a weapon that goes in there, so maybe they're planning on an upgrade kit at some point. You can actually move the shoulders a bit up and down, so he can be dejected. Oh man, we lost. Or he can be like, I am Homelander. Haha. No, I'm not. The head has a Headmaster head. It kind of fits in here snug. It can turn slightly. If you use the other head, which is a little smaller, you can turn it a bit more. But with the Headmaster head in there, it's barely slightly to each side. And he does not bow, but overall he is a cool articulated figure, and he can transform into the head of Scorponok, who we want to put in robot mode. We're going to put that aside for the moment. Sorry, Zarak, you're over there. Oh, these guys are just, I don't know why they're included, but we got a itty bitty Ultra Magnus, itty bitty Galvatron. They're probably a little bit, about twice as big, because they're like 3/4 of an inch tall. About twice as big as the little ones that came for Unicron, who I now have, and I may have to put him in a video at some point. All right, so we have Scorponok in his base mode. Let's get him into his robot mode. So we're going to fold up these repair arms, fold down the missile pods. The ramps we're going to fold up and put in place. Take these off. We'll take all these guns off, and this little claw piece, and these pieces here. All right, close these up. Ooh, I'm sorry. Shouldn't have done that, because we want to take the feet out. So thanks for getting right in the way, Honor. That was awesome of you. Flip them out and then put these back into place. That way he has feet. Oh, one thing I didn't show in base mode, you can turn this on if you put batteries in it, and you have little arrows that are lit up. Hopefully you can see those. That show the direction of the ramp, because, you know, traffic rules are very important in the Decepticon universe. We're gonna close that up. Now the transformation, not difficult. We're gonna move those forward. We're gonna take the head off. We're gonna take the tail piece and flip it around back, and it flips up here and plugs in. And then you can lift up this part, and you have a couple little post things here. This is probably not the best video for directions, but those plug in right there, so that is his back. At the waist, you twist it all the way around, bring the legs down. We are almost there. Put the arms down, a little out to the side, and make sure that the toes flip out, and you have Scorponok mostly. Now, usually he has guns on his shoulders, and you can put them on front and back if you'd like. I mean, you can make other decisions if you want. Instead of putting them on the back, you can put them on here. Again, totally up to you. Reassemble the big gun. Just one little slot that goes in. Open up his hand, and you have a slot right here, and that goes onto the slot inside his inner claw, and he's got his gun. Now, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit on this to show This is his little shield thing. You can open it up. It actually has these pieces on the inside that you can open up to make the shield bigger. There we go. These two pieces. Now you have choices. You can put them on the legs. That's totally up to you. Or these combine and plug into this so he has an even bigger claw shield. When you put it on his arm, you'll notice there's a big post here that goes into that big hole there. These two little posts that go into there. So you can plug it in so it's firmly attached to his arm. Now, I know what you want to see, the head. The head is a little interesting. Now, if you've watched other reviews or if you've heard about this, his eyes are supposed to light up. I received this without batteries. Now, I had batteries to go into the chest, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. I kind of showed you already, but I did not have the size battery for this, so I can't show you that. What's neat though is there's a little magnet piece here because it's magnetic activated. And if you do have batteries in here, the eyes will light up. Sorry, can't show you that. Now, putting this helmet on, when I first got this, before I watched any videos or anything, I was like, this is impossible. Well, it is not. So what we do here is we transform him into head mode. So interestingly, you would think that you would want this piece in the front, but you don't. You want it to have this piece that has like the holes in it. You flip out the chest. Now the arms can fold over. Oh, I didn't go through the posability. Well, I showed the ankle swivels. I showed the arms going. I didn't show the bend of the elbow and how it can go all the way up. So that part I forgot. I apologize. So you flip the chest up. The arms go underneath like so. So that is important. Now the feet, you want to kick forward and kick forward. You want the toes pointing towards his chest or under his chest. And there's two little posts on the bottom of the feet that this chest piece snaps into. Just looking at them and lining them up and popping that in. Sometimes they don't like to stay, but good enough. Now, here's the thing. To get this in here, you have to take the eyes off. So you can pull the eyes right off. If you don't do that, you're not getting it on. The top of the helmet opens up so you can make sure everything is lined up properly. And then you slide the face and head all the way up. You want it all the way up so these two posts are clear and the head is the only thing extended. Now, if you slide down the visor a little bit, you can then reattach the eyes, right like so. Move it back up, close the helmet, and the head is ready to go on. So head on. It's backwards. So I push it on. There is a slot for the Headmaster, but there you go. You have Scorponok in all his devastating glory. Now, I'm going to go through the posability, but before I do that, I want to do the obligatory. What does he look like next to the Titan? Here is the Titan. So, as you can see, he's a little bit taller by a shoulder, to the head. This one, the Y-C002, from his back piece to his feet, about 19 inches. So a little taller than the Metroplex. The Titan class is about 21.5 inches, maybe 22. So a little taller, but this is pretty badass. And this one is harder to get, I believe, though you can probably get a black Zarak pretty cheap nowadays, which I don't understand why that toy was not more popular because Japanese exclusive. I guess people weren't as familiar. So let's go over some posability for this guy. And I don't think we're going to be able to do much on the close-up cam because it does not show the full thing. So you're just going to have to watch the main cam. I'll be in frame, so be it. So first of all, you knew this was coming. Full Jean-Claude Van Damme. That I can show in the close-up cam. So very nice split. Well, the Jean-Claude split, he can do a regular split as well. Ankle swivels, very generous ones. So he can be in a very wide stance, though you want to make sure that you tilt him back a little bit. And with the weight of him, he slides. So even though the ankle swivels are very generous, they're not super great. Use them sparingly. Use them in a small amount. He can kick forward. He can kick back. Of course, he can do a side kick and even get that further up there. He does bend at the knee very nicely. Yes, he swivels. Yes, he swivels all the way around with a nice ratcheting noise. Now you can shift the knees forward a little bit because of the way this is set up. So I just push them forward a little bit. Twisting at the waist. Well, you probably figured this out before, but he can twist all the way around because that's part of the transformation. Now, the arms cannot quite go all the way around. He can go pretty far around that way, pretty far around that way, but he's got these hinges that interfere. So that is a shame, but not that big of a deal. He's still, a very intimidating bot. And I think I see where a couple of these go, right on the back of his arms. I'm gonna put them in real quick. I will say these are not the easiest things to put in because these particular ones have little notches on each side, so you gotta line them up properly to push them in. And if you don't get them lined up properly and you apply too much pressure and they slip, can go flying across the room or just fall on the table. I'll get them in later. At least I know that they're there. There's a couple holes on the back of his arms. And so the arms can do that. The shoulders can lift up. The arms can go out to the side, bends at the elbow, 90 degrees. You got this weird thing where the forearms can move since he's a scorpion. And he can like shoot to his left. He actually can rotate all the way around in 2 spots, both on the claw and here on the upper arm. So he's got double swiveling. So the arms are pretty darn good. And as I mentioned before, his claws, individual articulation for these outer claws. And you can obviously move the inner claw as well. There's no real bowing, I don't think. And well, I mean, his legs, you can make him bow. Yay, you like me, you really, really like me. But that's actually with his legs, so it's not above that. The head can turn all the way around. Even though it's a Headmaster head, you can move the little antenna a little bit if you want. If you think it's more stylish to put him slightly back, you can do that. And yeah, he can't look up, look down, any of that stuff. Now his chest, I did have batteries for this, so you can light up the chest. Now again, the eyes light up. It's a smaller button battery than the LR44s, which I had LR44s. I actually went to the store and I didn't think to look for the smaller battery. I should have, but c'est la vie. His eyes light up. You've seen eyes light up before. It's not that crazy of a thing. But yeah, light up chest. Very nice. And there is a switch. The eye lights are magnetic. And again, you have a magnet right here on the side of the gun, so you can turn on the lights and see if anyone's home. But very posable, very cool. I think I twisted his elbow out of position, so be careful of that. We're gonna move this around so he can bend at the elbow. But very cool poses. The guns are very cool, which the Titan ones don't. He does slide again, the weight. The Titan ones don't do this. So you can elevate the guns. You can have him doing all kinds of fighting poses. But again, because of the weight, the ankle swivels, if you move them out too far, you're gonna have some issues where he's gonna slide. So I wouldn't necessarily call that a super big flaw, but it is something to keep in mind, just because he is a hefty dude. So I'm gonna put him on the turntable of doom. Usually I do it in front of the other camera, but we're just gonna do it here so you can see him from all sides. You can see his legs that are basically sticking into his back and hidden away nicely. You can see he's got his shield. Overall, he's very cool. Jazz would be like, man, I'm getting out of here. Get down and shout, ow. That sounded a little more like I don't know. Him and Blaster have similar appreciation for music. So that is the Y-C002 Siyang Culture. And usually I don't show the transformation. This transformation is simple enough, but also at the same time, there's a little complexity that I definitely wanted to let you know about in case you decide to get this guy. And he's a Siyang Cultural Y-C002, 47 centimeters if you're a centimeter guy. And I think he makes a fine addition to any collection. Now, if you don't have the Hasbro Titan, this is a good alternative. Even if you do, this might be a good alternate version of Scorponok. You could put him in city mode next to your Titan in city mode, next to your G1 in city mode, and you could have a whole big Scorpo complex, because I think he has a complex. And you do get the Fasttrack. It's nice, you get the extra little head for Zarak. In case you don't want the Headmaster head, you get pieces that you can put into it. Get the big guns, the shoulder guns, the shield, and itty bitty Galvatron and Magnus. I mean, can I really show? It might get too blurry. I'm gonna zoom in as much as I can to show these guys. I'll try to show one at a time, and hopefully you can see that. But he is SM all. Same thing with Galvatron. I'm not giving you the finger, I swear. So it's a neat set, and again, thanks to Tommy Park for granting me a bit of a discount on this guy. I used to be a retailer, so I know sometimes margins are kind of small, so he did what he could for me, which is much appreciated. So you don't get all my toys for free. But I'll put links in the description in case you want to get this guy. And again, he's a very cool figure. I think he's worth it, especially if you can't get the Hasbro Titans one. And I just think he's overall cool. And you can customize him a few ways. Just put the guns on his legs instead on the back of his shoulders. You can blast troops on the ground. It's very cool. I like it. A couple tiny little things that could have been slightly better, but otherwise, I think he's worth it. He's a great representation of the figure, though his toes curl up, and I wasn't even kissing you, dude. So I'll put the toes back down, but he stands without his toes, so he's okay. But yeah, so while you are mulling over this nearly titan of Headmaster industry, you can check out this video over here, which is actually the Y-C001 Metroplex. Slightly shorter than this, but still an awesome figure worth checking out. And if you're enjoying this content, by all means, feel free to subscribe. We will see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.